What did you stop doing that you will not begin again? What did you begin doing that you will continue? Why are these two questions so important?
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
And welcome back to the program, everyone. Dustin Harris hanging out, another quick minisode for you. You know, we've been going through this pandemic for, well, a couple months now. Several months now. It seems like it will never end. You know, it's been a challenge. There's been a lot of changes over time. I've never been more active than I have currently in my all-star team, just because there's been a lot coming at us. And how do you survive with so much change coming at us and the refi boom and everything else? And it's actually kind of been fun to be a part of a group, a community of appraisers all working together through a challenging time. But I want to share with you today a couple of questions that I think you should ask yourself. And I want to do so when we get back from the break. I want to pause here and remind you that we're sponsored by ANOW Software. ANOW, of course, is the software that I'm using on a regular basis, every day, frankly, except my days off, to find out what's going on in my business, to calculate the numbers, to know where my appraisers are, to how much business we're doing. I want to share with you an example of a way that I used ANOW Software just recently. But first, go to their website, folks. ANOW.com is where you find it. It's ANOW.com. All right, folks, so the pandemic, hasn't that been fun, right? Still is fun. We're still going through it. Lots of change coming our direction. Lots of things have been different for us. You know, change is inevitable. If we haven't learned that over the last couple of months, I would say, what the heck rock have you been living under, right? I would like to share with you two questions. And by the way, this did not come from me. I believe this was a member of my dream team, and my apologies. I love to give hat tips to people. I have so many conversations with so many people on a regular basis that I just forget. It all bleeds and blends together. So my apologies to whoever brought these two questions to my attention. I'm even going to go out and say that I thought it was the Dallas mastermind that we were in. But somebody asked me, or somebody shared this with me, and I just thought it was just fantastic, and I wanted to pass it on to you. So the two questions on the table that I think everyone should ask themselves, even though we're still going through the pandemic, even though we've still got some time to work through the changes and the challenges and the difficulties that we're all dealing with, I want you to take some time. And by the way, if you're driving, maybe go back and listen to this or pull over to the side of the road, because I want you to write these down. These are such powerful life and business changing questions. Okay. Question number one, what did you stop doing that you will not begin again? So pandemic, right? What has the pandemic caused you to stop doing that you will not begin again? And question number two, what did you begin doing that you will continue to do? So the pandemic, what did you stop doing during the pandemic that you will not begin again? And what did the pandemic cause you to begin that you will continue? I want to pause here and remind you again, we're sponsored by a great company called ANOW Software. ANOW is a software created for appraisers, by appraisers. Folks, it's about being a better business owner. It's about keeping track of where you're at. Do you know what your gross revenue is so far this year? I do. Do you know what your gross revenue is this month? I do. Do you know how many orders you have outstanding? I do. Do you know how many orders that have not been paid on that are over 45 days? Folks, these are questions that every business owner considers crucial. Do you want to spend a bunch of time crunching the numbers with Excel or your calculator? Or do you want to hit one button and have ANOW answer it for you? I know what I want to do. ANOW.com. Again, it's ANOW.com. Welcome back to the program, everybody. We're talking about two questions every appraiser should ask themselves as we hopefully wrap up this pandemic, right? Hopefully we get through this, at least the most challenging part of the pandemic. And by the way, stay safe out there, folks. Stay healthy. But man, a lot of changes come our direction. Two questions on the table, and I'm going to answer for you what my answers are. But the two questions on the table is, what did you stop doing that you will not begin again? What did you begin doing that you will continue? Why are these two questions so important? Well, folks, I believe that change is opportunity. And because this change has been kind of, for lack of a better term, forced on us. I mean, none of us chose to go through the pandemic. None of us chose some of the changes that were made by FHA, Fannie Mae, even our private clients, as far as contact, no contact, masks, no masks, the way that we do appraisals, the way that we handle the refi boom, and so much that has come our direction. Folks, there is so much that has come to us through this process. And I'm a big believer in backward thinking, meaning, As appraisers, we develop value based on historic trends, right? I mean, comps are always closed before we use them, meaning we always come up with the value for the subject property based on history of sales. Now, it's recent history, sure. The more recent, the better. You want to get sales in the last 90 days and no longer than a year if you can avoid it. But the bottom line is we are dealing with today's problem on the table. I say problem in a positive way. The problem of appraisal, the problem of valuation based on historic trends. I believe that a good business owner, a successful business owner, learns from historic trends, meaning we've had the process of going through this pandemic. It was not our choice, but we went through it. Why not learn from the experience? So question number one, what did you stop doing that you will not begin again? For me, the answer is a brick and mortar. I don't ever see myself going back to a brick and mortar office again. Now, never say never. There may come an opportunity down the road where I change my mind, but right now, I feel bad for commercial real estate investments. I feel bad for people who own office buildings. I feel that the small office building, the small office within an office building rather, is going to wane. People have realized that working from home works. Not all the time, but most of the time. There are ways to make it work and work well. I just don't see. Now during the pandemic, I stopped. My lease expired. I did not renew it. I moved everybody home, and it's worked. It's worked fine. I just don't see myself going back to a brick and mortar. So the question number one, what did you stop doing that you will not begin again? For me, it's brick and mortar. Question number two, what did you begin that you will continue? This one's an easy one for me, folks. I have spent so much more time with my family during this pandemic than I've ever in my life. I've had all 4 of my kids back home. 2 of them had left and then they returned. One just got married and left again. But more time with my family, that is something I did more of during the pandemic. I will continue. But from a business perspective, let me give you a different answer. One of the things that I started doing is monitoring my employees. So this kind of reckons back to the previous question. What did you stop doing that you won't begin again? And that is a brick and mortar office, meaning all of my office staff now is virtual. They're working from home or wherever they choose to work from, but it's not a brick and mortar that I'm paying for. But with that becomes the ability to monitor my employees. And there is software out there to do that. There is ways to follow up and manage what they do. I have become very good at monitoring my employees' progress and managing them from afar. That is something that I will continue to do, that I started doing better during the pandemic. What about you? What have you stopped doing that you're not going to begin again? What did you begin doing that you would like to continue? I highly, highly, highly encourage you to seriously consider these questions because they'll make you better business owners. They'll make you more successful. They will allow you to be able to learn from a very, very challenging time. Speaking of challenging times and your ability to learn, what about the All-Star team, folks? Right now, it is absolutely free for anyone who wants to join. All you have to do is sign up and use the coupon code FREE30ALLSTAR. It's all one word, it's all caps. The 2 numbers in the middle are actually numbers, so free spelled out 30 All-Star. I'll see you there.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.